Louisiana is renowned for its vibrant music scene, with jazz rhythms flowing through its cities and drawing people in from all over the world. But music is just one of Louisiana's many charms. It's also famous for its rich, flavorful cuisine. Dishes like gumbo and jambalaya have made Louisiana a culinary paradise, a haven for food lovers eager to experience these unique flavors. And with festivals that celebrate everything from music to food, there's always something fascinating happening in this lively state. Yet, beneath Louisiana's lively culture and welcoming spirit lies a hidden, darker side. This state is no stranger to hardship, facing both unpredictable natural disasters and a significant homelessness issue that often goes unseen by many. In 2024, Louisiana reported approximately 7,373 homeless individuals, placing it 14th in the nation for homelessness per capita, with an average of around 15.9 homeless individuals per 10,000 residents. Of those, about 16.8% are living without any form of shelter, exposed to the elements day and night. The recent COVID-19 pandemic and ensuing economic crisis pushed homelessness numbers even higher. Nationally, rental assistance programs and eviction prevention efforts helped curb a drastic surge in homelessness, but the struggle is still evident, especially in major cities like New Orleans. Here, the scarcity of affordable housing has worsened the problem, forcing many people to live in makeshift shelters, such as tents, or in overcrowded temporary arrangements. Adding to the complexity is the prevalence of chronic homelessness in Louisiana, affecting nearly 400 people. These individuals often endure homelessness for extended periods, sometimes repeatedly, and frequently grapple with severe challenges like mental health issues or long-term physical illnesses that complicate their recovery. The majority of Louisiana's homeless population includes individuals and families who are economically strained, living with minimal income, and often lacking access to support services that could help them break free from their difficult circumstances. And the question that lingers is, what exactly are they up against? It turns out the hurdles are not just about finances or job availability. They're also battling to escape a cycle of poverty and, for many, the pervasive influence of substance abuse, which complicates their path to stability even further.
That about 364 people this past February were living unsheltered. This October 2nd, the weekly shelter report came out, and there were 381 beds available in area shelters.
Louisiana has seen a troubling rise in drug-related deaths, placing it among the highest in the nation, second only to Washington, D.C. Nearly 2,000 lives have been lost to drug overdoses in this state alone. In 2023, overdose deaths surged across the United States, with Louisiana particularly hard hit by this crisis. The overdose death rate in Louisiana is almost double the national average, with fentanyl involved in a staggering 95% of these cases. This synthetic opioid, often mixed with other drugs to amplify potency, has been a major driver of overdose fatalities. Louisiana's overdose mortality rate currently stands at 55.9 deaths per 100,000 people, a grim statistic that underscores the widespread impact of this crisis. The issue doesn't only affect adults. Many young people in Louisiana are also vulnerable to illicit substances. An estimated 23,000 youths between the ages of 12 and 17, or about 6.35% of this age group, reported using drugs in the past month. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Louisiana saw a shocking 54% increase in overdose deaths over the past 2 years. In 2022 alone, 1,186 lives were lost to overdoses across the state. Adding to the complexity of this crisis is a street drug known as tranq, which has gained popularity among Louisiana's drug-using community. Tranq is a slang term for mixtures containing xylazine, an animal tranquilizer designed for large animals like horses and cattle, not humans. This drug is increasingly combined with fentanyl and other opioids and street drugs, creating a highly dangerous blend. Xylazine intensifies the sedative effects and dramatically raises the risk of overdose, as the human body is poorly equipped to handle its impact. In the last 3 years, Jefferson Parish alone has reported 44 overdose cases linked to tranq, with each of those individuals having traces of xylazine in their systems. In Louisiana, also known as the Pelican State, prostitution is illegal. Yet, the practice persists, especially around Bourbon Street, where it often intersects with the strip clubs that dot this famous thoroughfare. Authorities keep a close eye on these establishments, regularly cracking down on activities that violate the law. In recent years, the New Orleans Police Department, alongside the Louisiana Office of Alcohol and Tobacco Control, has specifically targeted several strip clubs in the French Quarter, including those on Bourbon Street, for permitting prostitution, illegal drug sales, and other illicit activities. Prostitution's presence on Bourbon Street has deep historical roots. However, the origins of New Orleans' sex industry can be traced back even further to Storyville, a legendary red light district that remains an iconic part of the city's past. Established in 1897 by city officials, Storyville was designed to contain the adult entertainment industry within a specific 16-block area just north of the French Quarter. Named after Alderman Sidney Story, who crafted the ordinance, this area quickly became known for its lively atmosphere, filled with jazz music, gambling halls, saloons, and brothels. Storyville's popularity, however, ultimately led to its downfall. In 1917, as the United States entered World War I, the U.S. Navy pressured the city to close down Storyville, fearing the moral temptations it posed to soldiers. Although the district itself was shut down, its legacy lives on, immortalized in the music, tales, and spirit that emerged from its brief but colorful existence. Louisiana ranks at the bottom of the list in terms of safety and crime rates across the United States, currently holding the 50th spot. The state struggles with some of the highest crime rates in the nation, with violent crime and property crime levels significantly above the national average. Cities like Monroe and Alexandria face particularly alarming crime statistics. For instance, in Monroe, 1 out of every 147 residents is affected by violent crime, a stark contrast to other parts of the country. Alexandria, known for its bustling downtown and historic Sonia quarters, also experiences high rates of property and violent crime, recording nearly 7,300 property crimes per 100,000 residents. Throughout Louisiana, gun violence remains a major concern, with about 72% of residents expressing deep worries about this issue. In 2023 alone, Louisiana experienced 31 mass shooting events, a rise from 28 incidents the previous year. This ongoing trend highlights the urgent need for solutions to combat violence in communities that are striving for safety and stability amid some of the highest crime challenges in the nation.
2 officers were struck by gunfire and transported to the hospital.
In New Orleans, local criminal groups wield considerable influence over certain neighborhoods. with activities spanning from drug trafficking to arms dealing and even extortion. Areas like the French Quarter and Central City see a prominent presence of these gangs, and conflicts between rival groups often spill over, impacting the everyday lives of residents. These gangs range widely in size and scope, from small, block-based groups to larger, more organized networks. They tend to operate in neighborhoods struggling with high poverty and unemployment rates, factors that make their presence and influence hard to fully dismantle. Notable gangs like the Bird Gang and the Young Melf Mafia are heavily involved in drug distribution, and their frequent territorial disputes often escalate into violent clashes, leaving residents feeling trapped in a cycle of fear and uncertainty. The aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 only exacerbated these issues. The destruction left behind by the storm provided a unique opening for criminal groups to expand their territory and strengthen their influence. With many buildings heavily damaged, infrastructure slow to recover, and law enforcement resources stretched thin, gangs took advantage of this chaos, establishing their operations in neighborhoods that were hardest hit by the disaster. In the years following Katrina, both illegal firearms trafficking and drug distribution surged. The result was a notable rise in gang-related violence, adding another layer of hardship to an already fragile city. The New Orleans Police Department faced daunting obstacles. Many officers either left or retired, leading to a critical staffing shortage that made maintaining order even more difficult. Efforts to recruit new officers have been challenging, as the city's post-Katrina struggles continue to tarnish its image, deterring potential hires. Combined with setbacks in the judicial system, these limitations make it difficult for authorities to reduce gang violence effectively. Meanwhile, these gangs remain entrenched, capitalizing on the city's vulnerabilities and continuing their operations with little interference. The impact of Hurricane Katrina, which struck New Orleans on August 29, 2005, remains deeply etched in the memory of Louisiana's residents.
All of a sudden, I just hear some kind of like loud sound like boom.
This Category 3 storm, with its relentless winds exceeding 200 kilometers per hour and torrential rains, was a catastrophe that forever changed the face of the city. As the storm surged, the levee system that was supposed to shield New Orleans failed under the immense pressure, leading to devastating flooding. Around 80% of the city was submerged, with areas like the 9th Ward, sitting at some of the lowest elevations, hit particularly hard. For many residents, options for evacuation were limited, leaving them trapped amidst rising waters and widespread chaos. Katrina's toll was staggering. The storm claimed more than 1,800 lives and inflicted financial losses of roughly $125 billion, making it one of the costliest disasters in U.S. history. Beyond destroying homes and buildings, Katrina also crippled vital infrastructure, disrupting power grids, clean water access, and healthcare services. Thousands of residents were forced to relocate out of Louisiana, seeking safety and stability elsewhere. The population loss profoundly altered the community fabric of New Orleans, with neighborhoods that had been rich in culture and history left decimated. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, has highlighted Louisiana as one of the most disaster-prone states since 1980. In that span, Louisiana's cumulative financial losses due to various natural disasters have reached about $290 billion, a staggering figure for a state with a relatively modest population and economy. To put this into perspective, larger states like Texas and Florida, which also face frequent and severe weather events, recorded losses of $380 billion and $370 billion, respectively. In recent years, Louisiana has been battered by not just one or two major storms, but by a relentless series of extreme weather events. Hurricanes Laura and Delta struck in 2020, followed by Ian and Nicole in 2022, each leaving their own mark of destruction. For Louisiana, it's a continual cycle of rebuilding and resilience as the state faces nature's most powerful forces again and again.